Okay, we are live. We can start.
Okay, so a very, very warm welcome to everyone. And it's so wonderful to see everyone again. And we're really happy with the turnout. It gives us confidence in what we are trying to do. And welcome to all those watching us live on YouTube. And it's a club special. And we wanted to start with something warm and non-technical. And that's why, this idea came up from the core team that is, planning these sessions. To begin with, I'll say that we are trying to explore today what, motivates and inspires us to do what we do. And like for me, if I were to share what got me into paragliding, like I clearly remember 25 years back when I was introduced to the sport and I decided to take it on as a career. I clearly remember thinking, okay, number one, I'll be in nature. So I love nature. I love being outdoors. So I knew that I'll be on the mountains. There'll be breeze on my face, and I'll be in the sky, and there'll be clouds. And so that was my first big motivation to take this up as a career. Number one. Number two was that I'll get a lot of time to myself. This is a big thing for me to have time to myself and not just get caught with the work. I had an option to go into scuba diving or go paragliding, so I needed a lot of time to myself. So I thought, okay, this is a very weather dependent sport. You'll not be flying all the time. I'll get a lot of time to myself. So this was number two. And number three was of course that I wanted to stay awake and attentive in my life. So I knew that a sport like this will keep me alive, awake, attentive, and I'll not sleep through my life. So these were the three. Very clearly I remember that was my level of consciousness at the time, but I clearly remember that this were my driving forces. And it is so interesting to find out from others what motivates them, and then you look at yourself like what is motivating you, and it's a beautiful sharing of energy. Second thing that we'll try to explore today together would be how to balance our life around paragliding. I mean, most of us want to fly more than we do, but some are able to, and you can't say they're lucky. I think they plan better. So it'll be a good idea to go into people who are flying more to see how they kind of manage that. I'm not the best example of that because it's my profession already, but it'll be good to hear it from the seven samurais today, like how they balance life around paragliding. So that is the second thing we are trying to explore. And then of course they will share their insights, and it will kind of connect to you in a very beautiful way. I'm really happy to see everyone here who've come, and some surprises, very beautiful to see. So big welcome. It delights my heart to see pilots, especially in a time like this. And I think let's go. Clear for takeoff. I think we'll start with Rohit. And just a few words. When you think of Rohit, when I think of Rohit, I feel really good. I mean, the vision I have of him in my head is like, wow. And he makes me smile. He's got beautiful energy. He's on the takeoff. I feel really good about him. And he brings in a good energy. And his thoroughness and technical knowledge has been of great help to me as a pilot. And I think is a bedrock in the community for, so much that he knows and very generously shares. So, Rohit, you are clear for takeoff.
Hey, thank you. So life around paragliding. So let's just dive into it. Didn't really plan to have a life around paragliding, but soon the hobby, which was again what Avi said, the love for outdoors, been skiing, riding, sometime always looking for something that will take me outdoors. And typical corporate job, I've been in the IT industry for 24 years, product development companies. So this is my way to get out from in office, get out in open, and really spend that time. But this is a one sport that soon becomes so much that my wife calls it, it's not your hobby or sport anymore. It's passion, taking the precious time away from family and other priorities, to the point that you start planning your entire life, your priorities, your future goals, your finance around flying now. That's how it grows on you. So quick introduction. My name is Rohit Kavle. I'm based in Pune, married, 2 kids. When I started flying, my kids were as young as 4 and 7, and was interesting time to manage family and flying together. So I'm gonna give a bit of a overview about how I managed to do that for a lot of you guys thinking, sitting on a fence, will I be able to do justice to it? Will I be safe if I don't have enough time? And so on and so forth. Being in the IT industry, as I said, so let's dive into some of the aspects. So what I have here is a couple of pictures really that will show a bit of my journey, interesting, fun pictures. But more importantly, I'll be telling you the story about how I go about it, what's my approach towards it, what is that I get out of it, or what principles I really live by in the sport. All right, so let's start. Second. Now, why it wouldn't allow me to do that? That's okay. Let's
Share screen button in the center. Green.
Yeah, I was trying to share the application, but nevertheless, okay, no problem. I shared the whole screen.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we have on our screen as well. All right, so let's get going here. So a quick life around paragliding. So this is a story that goes back in 2011. I won't go deep into like what really got me started, but always looking to be outdoors. So this is an interesting picture. Right after my P1, I decided this is not for me. I'm not one of the most aggressive kind of a person, or some of the pilots I can see around me. So I was scared. I said, this is not really for me, out of P1. And soon I was looking to get back in the sky. That's how it gets you. Then I did my P2 and I said, yeah, I'll finish my P2 and that's about it. Finished the P2 and now I just can't stay back home. I wanted more. Now being the guy I am, probably you will figure out, engineer, obsessive planner, strategy, and so on. So wanted to see how I can make it safe for myself. So first thing I did is figured out what are the main challenges around learning flying. Where would you get things wrong and how you could get yourself in trouble. So takeoff, landings, the glider control. So first thing I did is get myself a glider. So this is a picture. In the picture, you'll see Viz Kharas, one of the club pilot that we have. He's watching me over there. And he thought at that time I was some serious, or I would say experienced pilot, which absolutely I wasn't. This was my second day on kiting. So that's how we get to know each other. But that's the approach. I started really nailing down the basic skills when I started, the takeoffs, the landings. So soon those were well under the belt. You could typically fly on a weekend, one day off a weekend, one day back with family. So 30, 40 hours, even though you try hard to come. I mean, I live in Pune, it's easier for me, but still I can't do more than 30, 40 hours a year. So that wasn't really, I would say, great flying hours to progress, but that's what I had. In the picture that you'll see me trying to take my kids whenever I have a babysitting duty. If you can't see it, on the beanbag is my son, 2 years, 3 years old, while I kite and fly around in my gypsy. So that's how I try to bring my kids also to outdoors, and so on. Now, I started focusing right from the beginning on the training, and training hard as much as I could train myself, keep things safer. So started with 2011 first SIV, and I have so far done about 5 SIVs, trained myself when things go wrong. And to the point that I got, I think, comfortable in my last performance glider, ENC. I could do the entire SIV, entire maneuvers on my own, plan things on my own. So you too reach to a level where you think that you can be safe while takeoff, safe while landing. You have a good flying control. Now you also learn to handle the situation when things go wrong. Now, with this, you can be confident that you're not doing something that will take away the safety, security of your family. So you try to balance both. And that's how I've been trying with. But that doesn't mean things get boring. I mean, as you start nailing down your basic skill, you start getting some of the interesting flights. I've been soon flying in mountains, a lot of 100+ flights in Beer, interesting flight, Panchgani to Pavna, 100+ kilometers here. But what you see here is very interesting flight. That's the one I chose. This is our playground. This is where we learn. What you see on the screen, right-hand side, is the Shindewadi, where we did our first hops. Then in the center, Tar. So I took off from Tar, headwind to Shindewadi, came back to Tar, went back to Lonavala before the mountains dipped, and then came back to Tar. So not a big, long flight, but so much fun to really fly all these playgrounds where we learned a number of years back, just hops or basic flying. So that's what drives me. Now, as the time progressed, the 40 hours soon become better because I could start flying longer in the mountains, going to Beer, flying in the large mountains. If you spend good enough time in the mountains, about 3 weeks, I can easily get about 30 to 40 hours. Initial days, nowadays I crack easily about 55, 60 hours just in the October, just 1 month, even if I just gave like 3 weeks. So last 3 years, I started doing that often. So I won't fly so much in Kamshet all the time, but really take that 2 to 3 weeks off in the mountain and fly every day as much as I could. And that gives me a pretty good flying, 60 hours plus remaining Kamshet and Panchgani. Easily you can do about now 100 hours. I've been doing 100 hours for the last 3 years. So even with all the priorities and without spending too much time out on a weekends, you can do a good justice to, let's say, if you're flying a performance machine, you at least have 70 to 100 hours to keep your currency. So I could do that. So the best part about flying is, flying with friends. One of my best friends took this picture, Sajid, thanks to him. A lot of good memories, a lot of things to cherish. And this is the big mountains that I talked about. Got myself certified for tandem, fly with family, friends. One of the very special moments, fly my daughter, my son. My daughter also learned her P1, P2 with Temple Pilot. So you can say we are a flying family. The recent passion, then you try to learn more stuff. So tweaking the gears to do BV style flying. Still early days, I'm still learning the nuances of top landings in thermic conditions. It's far easier to land in the evening conditions, but keep upping your game. So this is BV flying, where you can fly off to the mountain, stay overnight, take off from there, land next mountain or come back, whatever. So what I do, I'm trying to keep it short. Apart from all the flying, my approach has been towards flying, get things right, sharpen your tools, sharpen your techniques, keep learning, keep getting better at all aspects. So a lot of time is spent on the rainy days, packing the gliders, creating homemade rigs to do things well. A lot of tweaks in my harnesses. My harnesses don't look like the way they came from manufacturer. There's a lot of failure rate. 50% things that I create doesn't work in real flying, but then I go back and again fix it. So that's what I do. You will see some of the stuff that I've been trying to make at home just for the fun. And I try to keep things short. Thank you.
Okay. Must have been really hard because you could go on for 1 hour more.
I promise 5 minutes.
You doubled your time anyway, but
Oh,
It was so fantastic what all you shared, and I knew like you must have really worked hard to get it, in this time. So without wasting time, our plan is to have this session for 1 hour 15 minutes, but we yet don't know how long this flight is going to be. But really, thank you. That was spot on, Rohit. Thanks a lot. And next on is Arvind Oksa. He's an ex-Air Force fighter pilot. He's also a test pilot, and he's an instructor with Indigo. He's flying the airlines, and it was a joy getting him to Temple Pilots, because he's so thorough with his learning, with all the background that he comes with, and we thought that we must have him share his experience with paragliding. So, Oksa, all yours. Just unmute yourself, sir. We can't hear you.
Hi folks, here I am. I'll keep it short and sweet because unlike Rohit, I really don't have so much to say. But I'll tell you all about how I come to be here. Okay. In the Air Force, we enjoyed the thrills of fighter flying. And after I finished commanding a squadron, I did a lot of skydiving. All of it free, thanks to the Air Force. And it's a real thrill. Then I got posted to NDA as director training. And here was a chance to put into effect all the adventure stuff that I'd been wanting to do, but didn't have a chance to. Because now this was my job, to look after adventure. So one of the things I did manage to get in was paragliding. We started with winch launch and progressed to some hill flying. And I found that paragliding is a much better, if you take the thrill versus skill factor, skydiving is a lot of thrill, but not very much skill. Okay, it lands like a paraglider, but it's very markedly different because you don't need to really fly the thing. You just pull the brakes and it lands. Okay, that's all you need to do. As compared with that, paragliding is the opposite. A lot of skill and a lot of thrill. So we began with basic training in India, which was mainly winch launch, because if you have to get 50 cadets to do launches, you cannot climb the hill and pack gliders and bring them down and so on. So winch launch was the next best thing. So we did a lot of that. Then we progressed to a little bit of hill launches. And I managed to do about 100 flights almost in the last century, after which I have not flown at all. So I did some paragliding and some paramotoring. And now I've retired from Indigo and I have a lot of free time. So that's how I fell in with Abhi Malik once again. And here I am. So my take on the thing is like this: when you fly in a thrilling machine like a fighter or an aeroplane, etc., you're very conscious that before you can fly, there are 100 people who slog their asses off to get you into the air. So your contribution to flying is really just pushing the stick or the throttle or something like that. Whereas in this game, you're very conscious that you climb the hill yourself, you unpack the glider, and there's really nothing between you and flying except your own skill, heart, whatever else you like to call it. And the skill is undeniable because every moment you are flying the glider. Even for someone like me who's very much sub P2 level, there's a lot of thrill and element just riding the thermal, riding the turbulence, etc., etc. So the thrill of moving your hands and legs and hopefully your weight shift, etc., to fly, all this is really terrific. Plus, you can challenge yourself at whatever level you are. That first, you can challenge yourself to land on the ground, which I'm glad to say I achieved every time. Second, you can challenge yourself to try and land in the landing zone, which with time you get better. And next, you can try getting your approach correct, judging the winds, flying the wing down, etc., etc. And what I really enjoy is exactly what Rohit said, is I would like to feel safe on every departure. And the departure is the thing. That is, if you can inflate your wings safely, get off the ground without any drama, without any fuss, and feeling good about it, that is something worth training for. And training pays off. So towards that, I like to look at everything in a technical way. That is, read the manual, understand the theory, try and explain the theory, talk about it to people, and improve your understanding and your instinctive what they call seat of the pants skills. And for this, I find paragliding is absolutely unique, even better than an aircraft. Because with every ground handling session, kiting session, ground handling session, basic hops, etc., you are sharpening your skills. And it is a big thrill. I mean, especially for someone like me, the idea that you got your launch correct, okay, you inflated the wing correctly, you didn't make a mess up in any one of those things. And if you did, at least you got to learn something valuable from it. That is a very neat idea. And that is what will keep me coming back towards paragliding. Now that I'm retired, I have a lot of time to manage my free life. And although I'm not planning to move to Kamshed, but I can certainly cycle to Kamshed for a week every month or so. Okay, that's it from my side. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Valuable insights. And yes, like, for someone like me who's been into paragliding for the last 25 years and more, one has to keep reinventing and, seeing it in a new way. And for that, like seeing it through new eyes is, another way of, keeping the joy in it. So we'll move on to our next presenter, that is Venick. And yeah, Venick, please introduce yourself. He's a smashing personality. I love how he goes about his sport. He loves buying the top kind of gear. He loves to go to the best places in the world to fly. And he lives really enviably with his glider. So Venick, all yours, go for it.
That's a very flattering introduction. Thank you so much. I think that introduction was like, even I couldn't have come up with that. Sorry. I think Avi is right. I think it captures the spirit of why I fly. So, but I still have a presentation, but it's not, can you see me?
Yes, we're all
okay,
glued.
Okay, 1 second, hold on. 1 second. Unfortunately, I'm not as organized as Rohit. So I'm going to share my folder. Okay. So I have about 3.5 hours of flying now. I did my certification back in 2012, and I've taken a screen capture from ATTI to log my journey. So 2012 is when I actually got certified, and my trainer was Avi Malik. Avi Malik in 2012 and Avi Malik in 2021 are two different personalities. In 2012, Avi Malik, when he came on to the classroom, all of us would be like this. We had to shut our mouths and just listen to it. But now apparently I can make jokes about Avi Malik. I mean, we couldn't even dream about making jokes about Avi Malik before. But yeah, I mean, he was my instructor, and he basically certified me through all the stages of my progress and stuff. So in 2012 is when I did my certification, and then I restarted in 2017, because between 2012 to 2017, I had a lot of distractions. Well, I mean, stuff with my personal life, and we were into construction and stuff like that point of time. And then I quit all that stuff, and then I got my glider and started on my journey. So my profile, I'm a single pilot who is in the late 30s. So all my money is for myself. All my time is for myself. So I can actually, I have a lot more leeway with my time and money than what most people, I don't know, in the forum have. But the thing is, even time and money is not going to make you a good pilot. Your attitude is what makes you a good pilot. So I'll get to that later on. Until August 2020, I used to be an employee, but on August 2020, I started off my own company. And if anybody needs IT consulting, please contact me. I'm really good at.
What a plug! Well done.
Yeah. So it's two of us who have started together, and we have a product to sell, and we also do some IT consulting and stuff like that. So please do contact me. So anyway, I'm gonna remove my shameless plug now. So why do I fly? The first thing for me is the view. It's like visual porn for me. Like just the mountains and just seeing the lake in front of you, the trees or the mountains, it's just visual porn for me. The second thing is the sense of adventure. What do I mean by this? It's not just the adrenaline, your heart pumping at takeoff, or when you're flying, you're pretty much, you're calm, but there's a sense of expectation, there's a sense of like anticipation, something is going to happen, something is going to, like, your glider is shaking and stuff like that. But none of that. You kind of sap it in and you go with it. But what I love is the disappointment sometimes when you're sitting in the ground and rest of your friends are flying past you. It's everything. I like the whole package of it. It's all the emotions, not just the sense of adventure. The third thing which I really loved about my paragliding experience was it opens your mind up. Whenever we start any adventure sport, we tend to like have a set of preconceived notions about everything. And we don't do a lot of lateral thinking, but paragliding forces you to do a lot more lateral thinking and apply yourself better in different ways possible. The last one, okay, and I think this is more like a philosophical thing. You cannot blame anybody else in the sport but yourself. If you're in a situation which you cannot handle, it means you have not trained. If you are not understanding the conditions you're flying in, it means you have not done your back study, or you've not asked the right people to fly when, where, what conditions to fly. So everything, when you're in that harness, you cannot blame your school, you cannot blame your instructor. They have done the best they can with you. Now you have to take the journey, or you have to take the step forward yourself. So this is actually I do 2 adventure sports. Well, the other sport is not really an adventure, it's more like a meditation for me. I do tech diving as well. I'll show a couple of pictures from tech diving. Yeah, this is me and Jonah. We do tech diving in Pondy. Is this? Yeah. So in the recent dive forum, this is a picture just presented where I'm doing Tech 40 quarry diving. So even in tech diving, you have to have a backup of a backup of a backup. So you need to have a plan A, B, C. Unfortunately, though I'm a little more organized in tech diving, but when it comes to flying, a little more gung-ho, a little more chest-beating kind of behavior. But I'm trying to like subdue it more and more. I am trying to apply myself better in the air and stuff like that. So that's the whole reason about why I fly and stuff. Okay, now how do I manage my air time? I stay in Bangalore. I stay in a city, and I stay about 30 minutes from the airport. As I said, I have money and time, but the problem is, you're a victim of your circumstances. So I have certain engagements which I have to take care of simultaneously. But I dedicated, I've made a plan for every year, and my year starts off from May to May or May to April. And usually it goes that I need to log at least 25 dives, 25 good dives in different locations, and at least 100 hours of flying. When my skill was not there, though I would earmark 100 hours of flying, I ended up just doing 30 hours. Now, when I have the skill for it, when I say I've earmarked 100, I tend to do about 100 now. So I'm at the average level right now. And my schedule is usually, when I used to be working, it used to be 2 weeks in beer in spring, not in autumn. Last year was the first time I flew in autumn. Before that, I did the training with Avi in autumn. And then 2 weeks to 3 months in Europe. So this is like a one-time thing which I did in Europe, where I went to Europe and trained for 3 months straight. But usually I try to accommodate 2 weeks at least. Panchgani should be at least 4 to 5 days. And Kamshet would be every single long weekend. So every long weekend for that year is earmarked for Kamshet. That was my overall paragliding plan when I used to be employed. But now that I'm my own boss, like now the schedules have changed and I can fly whenever I want to. So that's, this is a moving target, and you just have to keep yourself, on top of it. But you really need to have a plan. If you can break down your year into 365 days and start a season, and let's say it's the paragliding season between May to April, it's best to, check off your long weekends and mark it for Kamshet or Panchgani, and, have a plan every single year and have a target of 50 hours or 75 hours, etc. Now I'll get to the top moments of flying. Okay, when I want to show a picture. This Ani took it for me in Panchgani. So this was my last radio call which Avi gave me in 2017 in Panchgani. He was asking me if I'm okay sitting in the harness. That was the last time I spoke to Ani has captured this beautifully. she has made a bouquet effect of Avi and me in the air and stuff. So that was the last training pursuit I had with Avi in 2017. And after that, I had about 35 hours of flying. And I took my ENA glider and I went on a big adventure to Europe with 3 months. And that's the that's the adrenaline talking. That's the, you know, like I just really wanted to go on an adventure. I thought I knew better. I thought I'm a really good pilot because, hey, you know what, I can take off in any site and stuff like that. But I was brought down to the ground in a lot of those takeoffs because you don't know what you don't know. And it so happened that in 2 or 3 months, I thought I'm going to log at least like 60, 100 hours. But I think I logged somewhere about 21 hours or something. That's after taking off like 30 takeoffs. So I would be in the ground and all the accomplished pilots would be in the sky. So Azores is like an exceptional location. It's an island between nowhere. It's literally in the middle of Atlantic. Okay. And it's still one of my favorite sites in the world to have flown at. It looks like this. It's an island in the middle of nowhere. It's a 52-kilometer island. And there's a record. The guy who stays there, he has flown 104 kilometers. He has gone up and down that island. So it's, it's a spectacular place to fly. It's still, you know, it's still.
Can you change the mode folder view? The right icon, we can see the larger picture. Then the pictures are very small.
Oh,
They're beautiful pictures.
okay.
Right?
Does this help?
The icon on the top. If you click on the,
Okay.
right now there are vertical lines. Next to that is a rectangle.
Showing a screen kind of an icon.
Yeah, exactly. If you click on that, you should see a bit better, bigger picture.
On the toolbar on top, Venick. On the toolbar on top, from the left, fourth icon, like a rectangle with some.
Okay, I should be better at this. I'm a computer guy.
Okay. Venick, just do one thing. Press Command A. Select all images. Select all images.
Okay. Command A. Okay.
Yes. And Option and spacebar. So it will go to slideshow.
Option and spacebar. Oh, what a genius! Are you available to be hired for my company? Okay. So, yeah, this is Azores. Can you see me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this is the Azores picture. Can you see this now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is the one of the best locations I've flown in. And of course, the other one would be our bead building, of course. And this was shot by Devu Chaudhary. This is over Big Face. We are at the peak. And we're going up, just shooting up to the cloud base over there. So the thing with bead building is, as Rohit was mentioning, right? For most of us who fly over there, even if you take off the 100th time or the 1000th time, the moment you start spinning up, and then when you see the back mountains, every single time I still get goosebumps. Every single time. So it's like, that's the joy of flying, which is unexplainable. You could be doing the same thing over and over again, and in real life, you tend to get bored of it. But in paragliding, you never get bored of this view or this experience of managing your glider under you and being able to just, you know, pan your vision out and capture all of that stuff in. And the thing with photos is you see it in a two-dimensional flat textish kind of way, but when you're flying, you see the same thing in a 3D effect with the elements. You feel the wind in the face, you feel the temperature of the air mass on your hands and stuff like. So you're living the picture rather than looking at the picture. So that, in one sense, captures the essence of flying as well. And the last but not the least, the attitude. I want to repeat what I said earlier, that you don't know what you don't know. Please talk to people who are around you, in the sense that don't take it as the gospel truth, but do make sure that you absorb everything like a sponge, get a lot of opinions, read a lot of books. But reading and applying it in the air are two different things. It's like like you can read a book and clear an exam, but applying that knowledge in the air is a completely different thing. You have to do a ton of SIVs. I mean, some people might learn slower. Some of us are slower learners. Some of them are faster learners. But it could so happen that the slow learner can connect with his wing or her wing in this one instant or this one moment, and then all knowledge catches up. What I mean by that is once you get comfortable in the glider, when you feel the glider is a part of your body, when you make that connection, whether you're a slow learner or a fast learner does not matter anymore, because now you have command over the glider. So I feel that enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, don't compete, understand the sport far better, don't chase numbers. I'm saying it, but I've done it myself, but all of us are carried away by this notion of the 100 and the 200 and stuff like that. But I'm repeating it, don't do the same mistakes. Enjoy the flight. Stay in the air longer than trying to chase a number and being in danger. So that's my parting thought. And last but not the least, just because you do an SIV, don't be in a false sense of confidence that you can pull the maneuver when you need it. You have to practice these maneuvers like spirals and stuff like that while in flight under a cloud. It's two different things, knowing how to spiral over a lake, but practicing it over a cloud or over a mountain when you have to do a fast descent. Those are two different things. One you have calm air, one you have rough air. So as I said, please pay attention to the fact that knowing something and doing something are two different things, and you have to consciously do a lot more than think it. So that's my parting advice for this presentation. And I think I'm done. And thank you for the introduction, Avi.
Thank you so much. I just missed a bit because we lost the connection for a bit, but just got back again. But thank you so much. It was delightful, especially the places you've flown and that island that you went, very exotic. Thank you for the wisdom that you shared. And we look forward to that in our club, pilots sharing, their insights. Okay. Next, we bring you Ashish. Now, Ashish has a very interesting story to tell. This is kind of, we are getting into second generation of people doing flying. So thank you guys, all the presenters before, to give us an insight into, your view of things and a window into your mind. Ashish, over to you. Please
Hi guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clear.
Okay,
Good
cool.
sound.
Thank you. Okay, hi. So I'm Ashish Gupta. I'm from Mumbai, and I do a lot of things, from being a videographer to a hotelier and even a free chef for my wife, And so basically I started my P2. I actually did my P2 lessons in 2009, way back with Avi sir, and the school was very small that time. And then I had a major gap because I had schooling and then education and then marriage and all that. And then I came back in February 2020. And then every time I would want to fly, COVID lockdown would happen. And so I had a lot of gaps, and I had to take refresher courses and start again. So yeah, I have so far I'm like a super beginner, apart from all these guys who spoke before me. So I've done only like 20 hours till now, and I've done about 50 to 60 takeoffs and landings. I'll tell you why I said that, which is important to me later. And I have flown in Shelar, Girlfriend, Shinde Hill, Pauna, Yelagiri, and Tower Hill. So then after my 20-day course, which actually took me 25 days or something because I broke it down, I went and bought the BGD Magic, which is an ENA glider, and I just bought it after the 20-day course. And I bought it because I know I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, and it's not gonna be my last wing. It's not gonna be my only wing. So I'm adamant about flying for the rest of my life, and this is what I've wanted to do since I've been a childhood. It's like, why did I buy the glider? It's because it's like khud ka bike khud ka hona chahiye, right? And eventually it gets even a girlfriend name to it. So regarding flying, I mean, I try to fly about 6 days in a month. I mean, that's my target, and I've told my family and everyone, like, okay, I'm going to do this at least 6 days in a month, because that's what I feel is right, to keep a balance between business, money, and time. And even to like for me, my wife is like a sea person, so she likes to go down, and I like to fly high up. So that's like a vast divide, and we got to meet somewhere in the middle. I did try taking her to the hill once. She didn't enjoy it much. And so basically, what keeps me motivated is even why do I take the risk? It's because I heard this fact from one of the instructors, is that from many people actually, that the gliders have evolved so much from the past, and the gliders that are now, which are much much more safer, and they are capable. I mean, a lot of people have not even deployed the reserve even once in like a decade. So I mean, for me, that is enough safety assurance that if you follow rules and guidelines, you will be safe. So what do I want to do when I now with my gliding? I want to do SIV courses. I want to fly as much as I can, and at as many locations as I can. Basically, grasp everything. I don't know what I need to do now in gliding, but as much as I can grasp, that is important to me. So balancing, I mean, I've already told you about balancing. How do I balance it out? I mean, I have a family in Lonavala which helped me out to stay with them, so I save a little money there. I make sure I'm prepped, ready, and I sleep enough. Come a day before, I work a business day, and then I leave in the evenings, get ready for the next day morning flight, and I do two flights. I mean, 2 days in a row. So that's how I try and manage it, so that it's not too much for business, also not too much for free time, my time also. So one of my most memorable flights was at Girlfriend, when I took off and I went into a cloud by mistake, and it was it was a low flying cloud which is just going over the hill, and I went into that. It was phenomenal because the wind just became cool around me, and it had a whole different mesmerizing feel. And yeah, there's one more very important memorable flight for me, like so everyone bombed out at Tower Hill, and I somehow caught a thermal, and I was just thermaling around for like a few 20-30 minutes, and Vinayak sir came in, and he also joined the circle while everyone was bombed out. So then I decided to get out of this thermal, because everyone was waiting for me down. I was like, oh shit, I'm being rude being up there. So I went and landed, and that was super memorable for me. So just a last thing, I mean, to the people who are of similar level or starting off or something, I mean, don't have too many expectations. Just go with the flow. I have a no negligence policy that I follow really strictly. That I want to be safer more than anything else, and I don't want to be negligent with any of the rules, regulations, or even all the education that's been given to me by temple pilots. So yeah, that's how I'd want to continue my sport. Be safe first. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fresh and a new perspective for everyone.
Thank you.
And I think what's coming about is that I think you need to plan well. And if you can plan well, I think you can manage your time really well. That's what I think is coming from most of the presenters and pilots, from their experience, that it's kind of a lot about planning. And number two, what comes to me to share at this moment is that this is a sport. We should not fool ourselves. We are doing something dangerous, and you can't kind of flirt with a sport like paragliding. You have to commit. I mean, you can't be a wine taster. You have to get drunk. You have to commit to a sport like this, because that will decide your safety threshold as well. And beautiful to hear the insights where pilots advising, how to go about staying safe in the game to fly longer. So thank you so much, Ashish. That was cool.
Thank
Ashish,
you.
I think the person behind on the screen was one of the people who inspired you.
Oh yeah, exactly. The reason I fly is because this is my father, and he used to fly in Lonavala, and the scene was very bad behind back then. But since then, I wanted to fly and follow this legacy and continue and make sure the new generation also flies. So I try and get my nephews and nieces also from Lonavala to
Yeah.
do the same.
Nice. Thank you.
So I hope people noticed, the shapes of the glider and the neon colors of the gliders, the harnesses. There's no concept of reserves. None of you will touch this glider or even do a short flight. But we used to fly these wings before. That should make you feel good.
And without radios.
Okay. The next one is Sajid Khan, who is a big voice now in paragliding in India and around the world. I've been listening to his banter, which is an amazing initiative, and I'm so happy about that. That is taking shape and getting more and more popular. And this man, I don't think needs any introduction because he's too cool and too fantastic. Okay, Sajid Khan, over to you. We keep an eye on the watch. Go for it, please.
Yeah, only for me, you said keep an eye on the watch. I'm watching you.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
So everyone, this is my daughter Ahana,
Hi.
and this presentation cannot be complete without her because she's part of the flying experience for me. So I'm going to start. I want to thank Anita and Avi and everyone at TP for this experience. It started with them, and it's grown into a lifestyle. And I really, you guys, I mean, it's just like family now. So thank you. I'm going to start off, and I actually started off pretty much earlier. There are a lot of young people in this audience today, like Venick, who might not know when I started. So I want to explain to them what it was like when I started. So here we go.
Yeah, please, yes.
So what's common between these things?
Horrible
So
dress
these
sense.
are the
Sajid?
horrible joke.
The 90s.
Dude, it's your hairstyle.
Hairstyle.
Your hairstyle.
this was the
Oh,
cell
the
phone.
hairstyle was the same, yeah.
Yeah, hairstyle is the same. This was the
Yeah,
cell
hairstyle
phone
was the
that came in. And I did my first P1 in 1996 in Nashik with Wild Ventures. And this was the social scene around. This was the
Motivation.
mobile phone. Yeah, and the
Motivation
gliders
to
that
run away from.
yeah, and the gliders you're talking about in Ashish's background, I actually flew that. We did 2 days of hops, and those gliders were like tents, and there was no, and the harness were like bikini harness, and there was absolutely no safety margin. So I did my first P1 there, and I was the only one who got top to bottom. In that, actually, my wife was also part of it. She also did P1, but none of those people got a top to bottom. I only got the top to bottom. So after that, there was the scene was not good. So these people used to come from Delhi and do these things. So really no avenues. Didn't know about temple pilots then. And then life went on. Went to work and went out of India. Was living out of India, and then came back in 2008 and flew in 2009. And that time, this was going on. And things improved over here, as you can see.
Yeah.
And so did the mobile phones improve by 2009. And that actually tells you how the gliders. Now, this is the first picture here is my kiting with, this is all temple pilots. This is my P1 doing my kiting. These are the people. I don't know if we know any one of them. They must have all grown old now. As you can see here, Ganpat sir is letting me take off vertically. As a student, I had no idea that this was not safe, but I was told to, I just shot up straight up, and I don't know who these people are.
So why do you
That's your P1, man. I don't know who they are now.
why do you have them in your presentation?
Because, dude, I did my P1 with them, but I don't know who they are.
Oh.
Okay, then so now how it started all for me. And this is something that's very special to me. And so as a kid, I was really interested in everything that was flying. Like kid, as in I'm talking about 4 or 5 years old, and I used to look at the planes on top, and I used to get fascinated with the red and the yellow and the green lights, and I used to ask my mother, what are those lights? And my mother once took me to a shop where we were actually going to a doctor, and there was a light shop next to it. And those night bulbs we keep, 0-watt bulbs. She showed me those bulbs. She said, those are on the planes. I was fascinated. I wanted those bulbs. And my world exploded about flying when my mother made a paper plane, and we actually flew it, and that thing flew. And I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? So I just kept doing that for a very long time. So I was crazy about flying. And in the 5th grade, I wanted to make RC planes. I went around all over Bombay. I knew there was a place called Hobby Center. And I tried to find that place, couldn't find it. And I tried to carve out of balsa wood. Couldn't get balsa wood, tried some wood, didn't happen. So gave that up. But my first helicopter ride was, I wanted to be a pilot. We couldn't afford it at that time. And my first helicopter ride happened when I was in my management school. And I was absolutely blown by it. Absolutely blown. It was in the mayor's bungalow in Bombay. And it was a short flight. And I was done. So I did what I could do best, and I got myself a job in an aviation company called Million Air, my second job. And it was all about, they had 3 helicopters and 1 private jet. And all I had to do was, I wanted to work for free. I just wanted to be around aircrafts. I was the assistant sales manager and marketing manager, and I loved it. I was with the celebrities. I was going on flights. I flew with everyone. It was a dream come true. And then eventually I came back, and in 2009 I did my P1 and P2. You're seeing the pictures here, and that was my obsession for paragliding. In 2009, when I was flying one of the I think the Gin Bolero that I was flying, I was at Pavna, and I was in a Venturi, and I was stuck. I didn't know. I was just hanging in there, and I looked up, and I could see the sky through it, and I was like, hold on, this is not right. There was a big hole in the upper skin of the glider, and through the cell I could see the sky. So I radioed down. I said, sir, I can see the sky from here. No, it's okay, don't worry. And I was like in a Venturi, and that's when I decided, I didn't care. I really didn't care. But eventually I bought my glider, and it was the same as Rohit's Nivyuk. And of course I had a better color. It was blue. And the real obsession for it started after that. And from 2010, I got para-addicted, and I've been flying ever since then. That's my early years into flying. But how did I progress? Normally, people progress in a particular fashion. First, they're beginners, then they're the intermediate, and then advanced pilots, and then instructing, or then into philosophy. Like Avi's gone into philosophy now. Sorry, Avi. And but I was a little different. You saw Rohit talk about, he's thinking about safety, thinking about how to kite. Absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. My stages were like this. My first stage when I started flying, and Rohit will know this. Aaya hu to fly karke jaunga, whatever the condition. I don't give a shit. I want to fly. So, and Rohit, if you want to say anything on that, so that's how it happened.
I've been holding a lot, so it's your show.
Yeah. Okay. Don't say much. So after that was that phase got over, because Rohit scared me into a lot of things. Said, why are you scratching so low? I used to scratch even at ground level just to see if I can go up. I became very good at scratching. And Rohit told me that, niche rotor hota hai. So what is rotor? And I had no idea. It's just for me, if you understand what I told you about my obsession about flying or interest in flying, and suddenly you give me a paraglider where I'm flying actually, it just blew my mind, and I didn't really care. After Rohit screwed my happiness, most of my flying time was dependent on only one word. It was, I want my mommy, because every time my glider would shake a little bit, I would go and land. I would used to be scared. I wanted my mommy. I used to cry out, mommy, mommy. So most of my time went in that. So if you think about the intermediate syndrome, that's what happened. After that, I took a lot of time to get back. A lot of fear had set in, and then I did SIVs. I did things on my own, and then I said, no, I can do this. And then after that, I got into acro, and I did stuff on my own. Of course, I've been speaking to a lot of people, Avi and Rohit and Karthik and Ben, all these people, all my gang. But I did it on my own, and I learned it on my own. So it was something that really what drives me. Acro is something that it's a lot of fun for me. I love doing stalls, spirals, sats, helicos, bingovers. I always want to just do that. I love vaga flying. XC is something that I've gotten. I fly also, but I would rather be acro flying. And after that, I'm into now to a point where we learned a lot in this, and we need to share the knowledge. So we have some. I'll talk about that. So these are some pictures that you can see. I want. Oops. Okay.
He showed all of them.
Okay, this picture, if you can see, this is Ankush sir. He's eating his chips and he's giving me the radio to do his work.
Huh?
Ankush, right?
Yes, sir. Right.
This picture,
Absolutely right.
this is the state of the art of fashion. I'm wearing Anita's flying suit. This is the fun we had. This is Ahana, my daughter, and Spiky here. So Avi said Ahana should fly, so we were making her fly. You know who these people are, and this is what I got when I figured out what to do. This is what I started doing: aviation. SIVs, and there's a lot of gay feeling around here on the takeoff. I don't know why. You can see from the pictures. This picture is when we see the exciting part of flying is finding different takeoffs. So this is at Tehri. Avi and all of us were there. This is the main model here, and we just bodyguards around. So flying for me is fun. Flying for me is all this put together. It's not only flying in the air, but the flying for me starts when we plan for flying, when I get excited about going to fly, right? So in this picture, Anita has made me jump in the water in the pool in Bali after dinner with clothes on. This Avi and me trying to do wingtip touching, photo bombing here. This is Viz. We do our own packing, doing cargo duty, going to Bilaspur. There's a lineup. Okay, this picture, like I said, there's a lot of gay things happening there. This is one of them. So over here, this is actually Rohit's sister, who I took tandem. I love taking people on tandem. Some of them puke, but that's okay. Okay, so now I want to get into the main reason why we are here. Oh, sorry, there's one more. So I went into acro. So acro is hair raising experience. Here you can see. And this is Ahana when she was young, when we started flying. And then this is her recently last year. No, this year, last year, this year. And I can't fly straight. I have to fly sideways. I love it. So now, why do I fly? Like, we thought about this yesterday. Ahana, I asked Ahana why I fly, and a lot of things about being social and all that. Yeah, I mean, I love the whole, if you see my pictures, more about people than being in the air also. But it's primarily for fun. I want to fly for fun. Like I said, when I fly karke jaunga, no matter what wind conditions, There's a story about these guys standing at the okay, I saw you seeing the time, I'm going, finishing, calm down, Avi. So there's this thing when the wind was crossed and all of these guys were standing on the takeoff on tower, and I came and I said, what are you guys waiting for? Saying, "Arey, wind cross hai." So मैंने तो इधर turn करके fly कर. So they're like, पागल है क्या? So I said, नहीं क्या हो गया? Wind इधर से आ रहा है ना, तो इधर से take off करना. So for me, I had to take off. I don't give a shit whether I fly for long or not. I wanted. So I faced this side. I got my glider out and took off, and I flew. So then you know what the story is. But I fly for my fun. I don't fly for anything else. I think it's just my love for flying. I like to see birds from top. We always see from down, but imagine seeing them from top in their own environment. To be able to touch the cloud, like Ashish said, like going into clouds. What an experience! Like you can go in a plane, but imagine going on your own. That's very exciting for me. Paragliding for me is instant happiness. The moment I think about paragliding, it's instant happiness, and that's why it's so addictive. Why would it not be? That's why it's addictive, and there's a joy in doing all acro maneuvers. I love it. I just love it. It's just for me. I know it's scary as hell, but I love doing all of those things. And also, paragliding is fun. We invent new games. It's a lot of excitement. You can sit the whole day. Where else can you sit and enjoy? I don't know. I've never gone. I love cross country. I've done some stuff in Beer, and over here you've seen pictures. I don't want to talk much about it. Lots of pictures. And the whole discussion and about paragliding, that's what excites me. Now we come to a part where we know so much, and we know we've been in this flying for 12 years, and so it's time that we spread the word. So I do this paragliding banter podcast, but although it is called podcast, people with open heartedness can also listen. Very bad joke.
Go on.
Okay, now that's it. So I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to talk about how I managed my paragliding life. So this is Ahana is here. Ahana has been our part of the pilot gang right from the start. She was there on the takeoff always. She used to be with me on all the drives to Kamshit. She has heard all the music that I have heard, rock music, which she now still likes, but now she's moved on to other things. But she was forced into flying. Avi has taken her tandem. I have taken a tandem, but Avi's taken her when she was young. He gave her controls. He made. So I don't know that.
I remember waking her up from her bed to go flying in your house.
Yeah. So that's it is just. I mean, this is just joy and all that. I mean, I didn't see it as a chore. I didn't see it as a different life. This was life. And you want to say something? Say something.
So I think he's covered everything, but just knowing that this was such a big part of my childhood, if I can even say that. But just to be able to say that, I can consider myself lucky, because I don't think anybody else has had this experience of growing with you guys and with Abba, and seeing people fly, seeing all the fun that these people used to have, and them including me and all the
Other
dogs
kids.
and the other kids, and the entire experience
Adi,
was
Myra.
it was something that I think I will cherish for a very long time.
Yeah. So that's about it, man. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sajid. The ending was like top notch.
Yeah.
Anna.
And not many jokes. Like, that's the best part.
Thank you, Anna. That was so sweet.
Yes,
And
so sweet to hear, Anna.
So good you got her over.
Yeah.
She came
And
by herself. I didn't get.
yeah, that was the best part.
Thank you, guys.
Talk
Thank
as
you.
well. And I love the pictures that you shared. That memory, that collage of memories was like yummy.
I must say you were very conservative in showing the pictures. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I know.
No, I mean, the jokes were good. How good is that? The jokes were like 5, at least like.
All right.
5 out of 10.
Okay. The banter has started. Okay, thank you, Sajid. And just like, you feel happy when you think of paragliding, it's same with us. When you think of you, we just feel happy. and you're such a joy, and we are thankful you're part of our life, and that's really big for us. Thank you very much for being who you are.
Thank you very much. Thanks to
Thank you very
everybody.
much for
all my
being
friends
who
and
you
everybody.
are,
Thank you.
and thank you, Hannah, for those lovely words. We feel the same. And one of our presenters today is in an emergency. We are not sure whether he'll be able to make it, but if he can, he'll be there. So we're bringing the showstopper from Raymond's, Nagendra.
Avi, I'm in. If you want to cue me in.
Oh, are you in? Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we have two showstoppers. We'll start with.
Sorry, I'll take the 7th number. So sorry.
Okay, cool. So we'll start with Nagendra, and I hope many of you know Nagendra, and I share quite a lot with him. And he's somebody who's really open to life and shares like beautiful insights about life. And he is one of the presenters today who does both paragliding and paramotoring, and runs his business and work and family. So it's beautiful to be able to hear him go next. And okay, go for it. Nagendra, on to you.
Thank you, Avi. Just a mic check. Everybody can hear. Good, great. Thank you for that introduction. After Sajid's joke, I dare say any jokes, but I love the paper plane idea, Sajid, amazing. Huh? And today it was really a good day. Ahana, you, me, and Avi dressed as Shivji. The picture came up on my Facebook 9 years back. And Ahana had a big mustache in that fancy dress. I will send it to you. Yeah, and Sajid was looking so gay in that. So sorry, that's why all the gay jokes. I'll send you the picture. But pretty nice. I want to share first my location. I live in Mumbai, Thane to be precise. And I'm very happy I live in that suburb, because from there you can go to all the famous sites in a jiffy to fly, because you're already outside the city early morning. And I worked for Raymond Group for 10 years as a director. And now I am working for world's #1 architectural company. I'm not an architect. And I will tell you that, how flying teaches you to do what you don't know or do. So that's really amazing. And among 5,000 architects, they hired me who's non-architect to take care of some things which probably they couldn't. It's amazing. Now, I live in Thane, and my immediate family is my one wife, 2 kids, 1 glider, hybrid glider, and 1 paramotoring engine, and 3 reserves, and lots of radios, lots of shoes. And I'm very unhappy Sajid didn't show me. I always got award by Temple Pilot as most fashionable pilot, but he didn't show one picture in his presentation.
Yes, you're undisputed
king.
There are so many pictures, dude.
Yeah, they run in thousands.
Yeah, so perfect. What inspired me to fly? First of all, I'll tell you how often I fly is that I fly all the time, in my mind, like my other co-pilots told, you're always preparing. That's the first thing you're doing. Whenever you find free time, people have different inclinations. My inclination is to meet people who are already learning and know so much about flying and share, not just flying, about life. So I think we keep flying all the time in our mind, and then whatever time is left, we do rest of the things. At least for me, that's very true. So this Raymond job happened. I was very happy. I took it up because I was near Kamshet. I came first time flying in. I saw this YouTube video. YouTube was just launched back then, at least in India. Internet was a new phenomena. And so I saw a guy with some kind of fan at the back, and he was flying a glider and dragging his foot in the water in a lake somewhere in Switzerland, maybe Lake Lucerne or something. And I was so fascinated by that, I have to learn this. What is it? Because I didn't know what is paragliding or anything. And somehow we came about knowing about temple pilots. And much before Sajid's 96 stint with paragliding, I came in 2006 to December 2006. We said we'll celebrate our new year like this time, and we'll go and try this flying thing out. And 2006, with my 1-year-old son, Puru, we landed in Pune, and somehow we found we got to Jepalop. And yes, it was a boutique, small community, such a beautiful things. There were more dogs and horses there than people with us in the family, and we had great time. And I did my P1. My wife, Bhavna, did P1. It is not her calling to fly by herself. So that's perfectly, I respect till the time she lets me fly. And that was good. Good time, and then I was coming from Delhi, and it was very difficult to do anything. So for first 10 years, probably I clocked only 20 hours, barely. And then, of course, I shifted to once in 2010, that's a very interesting thing that I came for 1 month, and every day from Pune, I would drive to flying sites. Wherever we were scheduled to fly. What a bad December it was that in the whole month I clocked 2.5 hours air time, full month, and out of which one flight was 1 hour 45 minutes. So 30 days, and this kind of patience you may need to progress sometimes. The weather was just not perfect. Now, because I started with that paramotoring image in my mind when I came to paragliding. It was always fascinating, to check out both the sports. And I did a lot of flying, and we went in flying tours with temple pilots everywhere possible, domestic and international tours. Bali is my favorite destination. Also, very important that more than hobby, it is a sport to me. And why I say that is because when I was looking at all options of finding out how we get into competitions and how do we test our metal, understand, more about the gliders, more about the engines, more about other equipment, and we fly in various locations and understand which is where you love to fly. Now, paramotoring started just 5 years back. I will talk a little bit about. I know most of us are into paragliding here, but I'll shift a little bit to paramotoring. Now, paramotoring did not start for me 5 years back. Many of you don't know. I was first pupil of paragliding for Avi. And Avi and me, we worked a lot on understanding and flying. And Avi, Anita, me, Bhavna, we would spend all afternoons, because beauty with the engine was that you can take off in the afternoon if the weather was good. You didn't have to wait for many kind of winds and things. And you remember, Anita, we would go to this abandoned
airstrip.
Yeah, airstrip. Yeah, exactly. And that was
very clearly.
Really fun.
I remember Puru waiting over there, and yeah.
And what happened there was that 1 month we did only ground runs. Okay, and again I'm bringing back the value of patience, because you never give up. Flying is not about 2 years or coming on a weekend or something. You keep in mind and keep flying. It's okay. Suddenly, some seasons will be very fruitful for you, and other seasons may be really drag, but keep doing it. As Sajid said, he wants to fly, he wants to come, and anyhow, take out time on that. Now, I'll tell you one story. We got a chance to go for Asia Oceanic Championship, which was in Thailand. And I love meeting a lot of people and organizing them, not so much in paragliding community. That's why you don't see me much there. I come and meet you all and fly. But in paramotoring, we do a lot of stuff. So this team the Team India was formed. I was very instrumental with ACI, and we went there as a good big group. I designed this gear, and it was great to be there and be part of a world championship where 160 best pilots came with amazing engines, as you can see, from all over the world. It was probably bigger than a cricket championship because there were 13 countries. Usually it's not a spectator sport. So this picture is from Asia Oceanic Championship. It was amazing to see how people in Thailand, from a stretcher where we all stand, in organizing championships. We have a very low key, we don't have too many championships in India. They started from there, and after that they went on, and they've become really, really great in last 4 years on organizing championships. It takes so much, and I would love to share that individually if anybody is interested. So in First Asia, that's my daughter, Pari. She flies, she goes and flies everywhere with me. She was 3-year-old when I took her for tandems in paramotoring. That requires a lot of trust with everyone in the family to fly her. And she was, I thought she will get scared, but she was really thrilled, even as a 3-year-old person. Then coming back to paramotoring, I don't leave a chance. Every weekend I'm flying wherever anybody wants to call us. We have discovered so many sites in Maharashtra or elsewhere in the world, and we keep going and flying all the time. So when it came to World Championship, the trick is that you talk so much about flying that people around you should get irritated, and they should say, just go and do whatever, man. So in office, there was no issue at all, ever. World Championship, I went for 1 month to Thailand to train. And when I talked to my boss, Sajid knows my boss very well. So I would not take names here, but when I told him that I'm going for 1 month, so why don't you make a policy for sports people in Raymond, okay? So that, this is very legal and this and that and all that. To my surprise, he said, "Arey, chupke se chale jana, kya karna hai, wahin se aa jana meeting ke liye." And that's how you irritate people, okay? Every day talking about flying. कि वीकेंड को हमारे साथ फ्लाई कर, 2-4 को फ्लाई करा दो, और कुछ भी किसी को बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. You fly everybody in the family, old scared people, take them on rides, and कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. अगर बहुत ओल्ड है, कोई कुछ है, उसको पहले बोलो मैं तुमको 5 फुट पे उड़ाऊंगा, ज्यादा वो हाइट पे नहीं जाएंगे, whatever. So it's pretty easy to manage. I don't think it is difficult, just like anyone else. We have got very busy professional life, all of us, but if you're focusing on flying, then you can do. And there's no other sport I have other than this. That is in famous takeoff at Beer with Avi. I try to catch up, not as much as a couple of other pilots. Venick has done amazing, because I met him on the site when he came for P1, and amazing progress. I wish I was that fast, but I'm pretty slow. It has taken me 15-16 years to be where I am. And yeah, a little less than Sajid though. From 96. Ankush sir, I can see you. Great beard. So my best moments in flying so far. Okay. I think very important to stick to a very good set of instructors. And I was very fortunate always, both in paramotoring and paragliding, that I met Avi for paragliding. My best learning moments have not been in skies or takeoff or on the mountains. All those afternoons, एक अंदर ऑफिस है, उसमें लिखा होता है कि कोई पायलट नहीं आ सकता बस. So I was very curious, तो अभी और मैं अंदर कुछ इसलिए नहीं आ सकता, अंदर 2 बेड लगे हुए हैं, बाकी सारे लोगों को होमवर्क देके ना वहां पे अभी लेट के सो रहा होता है दोपहर में. And I made sure that he couldn't take a nap. And Ankush sir and all other people are busy doing a lot of preparations and admin work for us. So Avi and me will occupy both the beds, and Adi aankh khol ke we would talk about all the stuff in the world, okay, all the stuff possible. Those were my best moments Probably, we shared so much and learned. Maybe something is very inspiring about that room, and keep it up. Great vastu, great positivity there. My plans are now I'm preparing for next World Championship. So from first international show with 160 pilots, my first ranking was 58. And I didn't go to win a medal. I just wanted to complete every task of 28 tasks to realize. Then in the 10th Paramotoring World Championship, my ranking rose to 42. And if you really want to be in first 10, then I think that's the only thing you need to do. You can't do both the things. So that's okay. That's your choice. You want to be in first 10, then you will have to start by designing your equipment, not just buying. You will have to design everything with the manufacturers and bring it to a level of doing things. So I'm preparing for Brazil in my own way, but it keeps getting postponed because of Corona. So it was due, and yeah, that's about it. I think it's great to be up in the skies every weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nagendra.
Thank you, Nagendra. That was very candid. And we quickly move. We've crossed our mark, but we move to our last presenter, pilot today. Well, I met KK when he came for his SIV course, and then we did some maxi flying together in Beer. And beautiful man. And we'll quickly hand you over to KK. Go for it. KK, are you there? I guess he wants us to read about him. KK, is your mute?
But while KK is
Yeah, hi guys. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm a little unorganized today. Yeah, you have to.
By the way, that's a good one, no, Abhi?
Yeah, read about me. I could hear you guys. Huh? Anyway, I've been flying since 2016. I have about 400 hours flying E and B wings, flown at various sites in India, and I am primarily an XC pilot. I don't do acro or other forms, but I love doing XC flying. So that's just a brief about me. And so how I got into flying, there's a funny story. I live very close to Beer, just 5 hours in Shimla, but I ended up learning paragliding all the way in Kamshet. Funnily, I didn't know there was such a great flying site called Beer in Himachal when I learned how to fly. So I don't know, it was great or it was, but yeah, Kamshet taught me a lot about strong winds. So it's a great place to begin to learn. So, sorry. Yeah, why do I fly? We've all been speaking that paragliding is fun, but to me, paragliding is not fun. It is a process. It is a state of mind which leads to happiness. There's a big difference in fun and happiness. And I take paragliding a lot more seriously than to just make it fun. I mean, it's great to have fun, but I can't have fun when I'm paragliding. I want my happiness in it. Just floating around in the ground, just, touching those ridges, going high above into the sky, being with all the elements. It is such a pure form, it cannot be put into words. Even if I'm trying, I'm just in loss for words, as to what paragliding is, how pure it is. It is a very pure emotion for me. That's how I look at paragliding. And also paragliding, it helps me to be in a state of mind where I can be conscious and subconscious at the same time. I'm very conscious of my environment, of what's happening around me, and I let my subconscious take me to places, take me to all those landscapes. It, lets me feel those elements. And we always speak about, it's not the destination, but it's the journey that leads to the destination. But in paragliding, it is the process that leads to the journey, and the journey further, takes us to the arriving of that goal where we are heading. So paragliding is, I wouldn't say life around paragliding. I would say paragliding around life. That's my motto with the paragliding. And yes, when you're up there flying the big mountains or just about anywhere, the landscapes are fabulous. These are a few pictures I took this year. So this is what calls me into the nature, into the mountains, into the high skies every time, you know. Leonardo da Vinci, he said that once you taste flight, you forever walk with your head to the sky. But I say, once you taste flight from up there, you will always want to come back and fly just to look around. You know, you just want to fool around in the air. And that is happiness to me. This is again in springtime behind Beer. So you always want to go back to these views, man. I mean, there's nothing that can replace these. This was taken by Rohit Kavale at Panchgani. We had managed to go above the inversion, and it was a great flight that we had together. Yeah, so yes, and when I look back to myself, I don't think I smile as much, but when I'm flying, you know. So a big reason for me to smile is flying. That's where I smile the most. So what I would like to speak about here in this presentation is a little about calling the state of flow, or what we say in our Pahari language, sanak, or what we say to be in the zone. We all know about it, and we are all there at some point or another, but we don't know how to get there or what it's like to be there, you know. So what exactly is being in the sport, to be in the zone? In simpler words, it is performing an activity when you're fully immersed in a feeling of energized focus. So I feel in paragliding, we need to be in that energized focus all the time if we want to progress, if we want to do well in our flying, and we want to go further ahead, you know. We want to be fully involved in the activity. In the present, we have to leave the chaos behind, you know. We have to leave the chaos of our work, of our personal lives, of our family lives, friends, everything. We have to accept that chaos, put it in one corner, and then we have to fly. Because if our mind is in a chaos, we cannot fly well. So I would suggest to everybody who's starting on flying, when you're flying, try to keep the chaos of your life away from your flight. It's a meditative state, but you have to learn how to get there if you want to fly well. And you have to enjoy this whole process of activity, because this is going to lead to happiness. And eventually we are all working towards happiness, be it monetarily, be it properties, be it adventure junkies like us, junkies in a good way. We all want to be happy. The outcome has to be happiness. So yeah, and state of flow is not just in paragliding, it is there in all adventure sports. It could be there in meditation, in painting, it could be Slash playing his guitar, you know. So this is where that energy comes from. Now, how do we get into the state of flow and progression? So this is a small chart that was developed by the psychologist who first developed the theory of flow. So what it says is that at a given point in time, our challenges are always in a state of dynamic. You know, like when I say challenges are dynamic, I mean like to land in 100-meter circle today, it may be a very big thing for us. But once we've practiced enough, that 100-meter can we squeeze down to 10 meters, you know. But when we don't practice, again, that 10 meters, it becomes a 100-meter circle. That is going to be, you know, make us more anxious. So challenges are dynamic, and so is a skill level. A skill level is also very dynamic, because you fly 50 hours in an air, and in the next year, you're not flying at all. So our skills, they have gone down. You know, so we continuously need to sharpen our skills. If we can't progress with it, we at least need to keep up to the level where we are flying. If we stop flying, we go back, and that is where most of you know, the club pilots and the pilots who are flying with us, they go back in the flying careers, and this is what demotivates it, because there is no progression. So dynamics and skill set is dynamic, and this is very important in paragliding. So just an example, I would say, as a, just one second, yeah, for a club pilot. So I would say you guys are, most of us out of club pilot, skill level is, say, very low at this point. If you can see, I'm just marking it in red. And even the takeoff on our own, because earlier we were helped by our instructors, but now we need to decide our takeoffs on our own. So we put up a challenge level that is very high. So here we are in a state of anxiety and worry. This is where we need very good instructors. We need to be very sure who we are flying with, because these are the people who will take care of your anxiety and worry to begin with, because right now you don't have the skill set. So you need to be with those people who can take care of you. And then once you progress with your skill set, your challenge, the same thing that was a bigger challenge to you earlier, it is now a smaller challenge here. So now we are relaxed about that whole thing, because we have increased our skill set for coming into that 10-meter landing zone. It could be a top landing, it could be thermaling, it could be anything in flying. I'm just giving an example of landing in a small circle. So once we are relaxed, we now want to be in control of our wing. This is called progression. I would not suggest anyone to just go and jump. I have done that. I have been in the hospital for 1 month. I've had 2 accidents in flying because my skill level was somewhere here and I was trying to do something over here and it ended up very bad. This is not what we want to do. We want to be relaxed about our flying. We want to be in control of a glider, and then we want to progress. And we cannot do that without an instructor, without a mentor. Even after flying 400 hours, I go back to Avi, I go back to my senior flying pilots. I ask them again and again and again, because when I go back to my instructors or my senior pilots in front of them, compared to them, my skill level is very low again. So I want to set up a challenge. I want to fly 200 kilometers. I don't want to go for 300 kilometers. So, we have to decide, we have to be very honest about a challenge and skill level. And once we are relaxed and we are in control, we get into a state of flow over here. That is where you really start enjoying and the happiness starts coming in. So, to be in a state of flow, you don't have to be the best pilot out there, but what you are doing, you have to do it very well. You have to understand it, and that is going to lead to your progression. It is a step-by-step process. That is how you progress in paragliding. I did not do that initially, but this is the formula that I work on today and that what I apply to my flying career. And so this is what I'm sharing with you, because this is the best way I could put across what flying progression is. And also the researchers have suggested, and now they confirm that to be in a state of flow, your level of challenges that you create for yourself, it should be about 4% higher than your skill level. How you measure your skill level or challenge level, please don't ask me. I can only speak for myself, but it is very individual, and maybe your instructor can help you getting there, But if you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, if you keep on flying the same ridge over and over again, your skill set will become high, but your challenge is so low, you'll get bored. And that is where you feel, oh, I know it all. And, then that progression curve starts coming down. So you need to up your challenge every time. So this is what progression about in paragliding is to me, personally to me. It may be a very different approach to you, how you see the sport, but this is what it is about to me. I hope I made some sense here. What motivates me to fly? So I would just quote John Sylvester here. It's often liberating to just go XC without a big objective. We don't want any big goals to go fly, or fear of failing. It's okay, we fail. I have some goal, I fail. I could not, make it to the next ridge. I just bombed out somewhere. It doesn't matter. Just the desire to keep on flying and exploring. Go to that shellar, you bombed out, go climb back up again, go down, go back up again. That's how you explore, that's how you fly, and see where the day takes you. So every time you're flying, you're learning something new. The best pilots in the world, they say every time they fly, they are learning something new. We are just a fragment in the sport. So we need to fly more and more to learn. And important is every flight, you need to learn something from it. You need to discuss with your instructors, with your friends, and you need to discuss and make something out of it. Every flight will teach you something, or yeah. So my advice to new pilots, ask yourself why you want to fly or what you like about paragliding. And if you can truthfully answer it, you don't need another reason to fly. Flying is, you cannot have a reason to fly. Flying is an extreme emotion which you immediately connect to. You may take a little while, maybe when you start understanding a bit, but it's an immediate connect. You don't look for reasons to fly. You just fly, you really need to listen to your instructors. I've made those mistakes. I would not suggest you do that. And now I really listen to Avi when I have some bad collapses or series of collapses. I make sure I message Avi immediately. This is what happened, and thank you for teaching me all those things that you taught in my SI week. I think I'm walking today because of that. When you're away from school, Avi is always not going to be there with all of us to teach us. So identify your senior pilots on different flying sites, and you need to be very truthful because you're going to get a lot of information on paragliding sites. So you need to be honest to yourself. That is, what is the skill level that you're flying? So don't try to go above that skill level. Be honest to yourself, because at the end, if somebody gets hurt, it's going to be you and your family. So you really need to be honest about it. And then apply the filtered information. Just don't listen to what I'm saying because I have 400 hours. You have maybe 20 hours, 30 hours. Somebody who has 800 hours is going to give you more information, but you apply information that is applicable to a 30, 40 hour pilot. That is your skill level. So don't try to jump that. Build your hours, but not just ridge soaring. Like I said, you need to up your challenges. You just can't do the same thing. Discuss with your instructor. He will tell you, he will set challenges for you, and he will help you progress, because to begin at the beginning, we don't know what we really want to do with the paraglider. It's takeoff, it's little gliding, and it's just going down. We're just pawns in this whole sport. It is an extreme sport. Give it its due respect. Like I said, things very rarely go wrong, but when they do go wrong. The sport is bigger than us in every manner. We cannot comprehend it. We cannot fully understand it. We can just mitigate the risk and make it safe. The lesser risk we take, the safer we make it. So you have to progress slowly. And we have a very small and accessible community. Just reach out to pilots if you ever want to speak to them, or anybody. Everybody is more than glad, and they'll always be of great help. So that's about it. Thank you so much.
KK,
Yeah.
look at this.
What is that? I can't see.
That's Flash.
Oh yeah, cool, man.
Okay. Thank you very much. We can remove the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so KK, that was fabulous. I think we already got comments in the chat thanking you and presenting it so well, and especially talking about the flow in a beautiful way. So thank you for taking this time out with whatever's going on with your life at the moment. And I hope it wasn't a very big challenge.
It wasn't. It was all sorted. I got here. It was all fine.
Great.
Thanks to you guys.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And be forced with you to sort whatever it is.
It's done. No worries.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Excellent. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you to all the speakers and presenters for sharing, valuable insights there. And I am sure that everyone present has enriched their consciousness in one way or the other and taken different things from, different presenters. And we will continue. We've, of course, gone way ahead of the time today, but that was the kind of a structure for the, session today, but it's all right. I think everybody enjoyed. I'll quickly conclude to make some sense of it all for everyone. That yes, this sport cannot be taken lightly. You need to go about it in a very smart, intelligent way. First and foremost, find that commitment inside. Get a yes from your within. Let there be a yes. And if there is not a full yes in caps coming, ask and see, because that is the foundation. You need to be wanting to do it. There should be a yes, a big yes from inside, number one. And number two, I think planning will, remove a lot of clutter and give you the time the sport needs and demands. As we've seen, everybody's shared their experiences. There's a lot to this sport than meets the eye or you will ever know. There's a lot more than we will ever know to this sport. So more you know, the less you know, actually. You realize, okay? So we also realize that you will go through a whole gamut of emotions where sometimes the motivation is low. Sometimes, you had a little situation and, it's come in the way. There would be, disappointments. And something Venick mentioned, very beautiful, that he likes, when he gets disappointed or faces failure, that's a higher state of consciousness where you are open to accept, the whole gamut of emotions, which includes bombing out. And bombing out is an integral part of your growth and progress. You need to bomb out to, go further. So there's a whole palette of emotions that you're open to learn from and go beyond. So it all comes to a lot of self-awareness that you will be gifted in this sport if you do decide to continue and go further. You will get to know a lot about yourself, and you will expand who you are as you progress. So there's a lot there. And thank you, KK, for bringing the concept of flow. I think we will talk about this more. It needs more attention. And we have seen over the years, the mental aspect in this sport is huge. I would say like 85% and more. So we will bring some sessions where we'll, decode all this, how to bring this balance between challenge and my skill level, to have enough self-awareness to be in this flow as early as possible in your flying career. So we will work on that. And thank you for enriching us, to all the senior club pilots and all those who participated. Like I said before, we welcome everyone to participate and make it fun and learning experience. We do have some time before the season starts, and we can call these sessions like the pilot prepares. And there's a lot we can prepare and be really good when we start to fly. We are, full with lots of knowledge, to be more self-aware, to find this flow and, enjoy what paragliding has to offer in terms of enriching our lives. So yeah, we don't have time for, Q&A, etc., because we already exceeded our time. I can only say thank you, thank you, thank you. This was beautiful. Special thanks to all the speakers today and also to all the participants. Rohit sir is here. That's an honor. Thank you very much for coming. And yeah, thank you. Want to say something?
So anyone who has specific questions for any of the speakers, please feel free to send them to us and we'll forward it to the speakers, and they'll be only too happy to help and assist in any way they can. This whole endeavor is to, as a community, we sort of gather ourselves and try to do as much work on ourselves before the season begins. It's always wonderful to meet all of you, and you are our flying family. And thank you for joining in very, very much. And a big thank you to all the speakers. Means a lot. Thank you, guys.
And one more thing. I would recommend, I just got this book a little while ago. This is a new one. And see if you can order it. I would recommend, every club pilot to get a copy. It's worth, having it. And, it's beautifully done. And there's all the stuff that you need to progress safely and in a smart, intelligent way. And number two, if you're an XC pilot, you can order this one. I just got it 2 days back. I need to order it for me. Enough and more stuff there, valuable stuff. And whenever you are free, lovely reading and taking gems from there and making yourself a better, safer pilot. So yeah. We will keep organizing these sessions like we said, and look forward to your suggestions and participation, and we'll see you when we'll see you next.
So in our team also, we are doing some sessions with the team, and some of our guys are here. So say a big shout out to all Temple Pilots instructors. And a huge thank you to Ninad. Ninad, can we see your beautiful, handsome face? Yay! Thanks means thank you.
Thank you. Good to see Rajiv.
Thank you so much.